The days on Jar had changed since Tomel passed the trials. The once quiet border settlement now hummed with activity and hope. Trade routes between the Zorth and Trolloc colonies had opened. People from different worlds worked side by side, sharing knowledge and culture. Timel and Commander Vetra had become leaders in this new era. Their partnership, once unexpected, had grown strong. Together, they faced the challenges of building peace where once there was only war. One morning, as the twin suns rose over the horizon, a message arrived from the Trolloc capital. A delegation was coming to Jara to discuss a formal peace treaty. It was the moment everyone had hoped for, but also one filled with tension. Tomel stood at the meeting hall's entrance. Watching the arriving ships, Vetra joined him, her expression serious. "This is more than a meeting," she said quietly. "It is the future of many worlds." Tomel nodded. "We must be ready." Inside the hall, leaders from the Zorth, Trolloc, and other allied species gathered. The air was thick with expectation. Tomel took a deep breath and stepped forward. "We have come far," he began, "from enemies to partners. Today, we have the chance to create a future of peace and cooperation." The Trolloc leader, a tall figure with soft green skin, spoke next. "We are grateful for this opportunity. For too long, our people suffered because of conflict. We want a new beginning." The talks went on for hours. Difficult questions were raised. Old fears and mistrust surfaced, but Tomel and Vetra stayed calm, guiding the conversation with patience and respect. Outside the hall, Merrick approached Tomel. "I was wrong to doubt you," he admitted. "You have shown me a strength I did not understand." Tomel smiled. "Thank you, Merrick. Strength is not only fighting, it is knowing when to forgive." As the sun set, the leaders reached an agreement. A treaty was signed, promising cooperation, shared resources, and mutual defense. It was a fragile peace, but it was a start. Cheers filled the hall. People hugged and shook hands. Tomel looked at Vetra, pride shining in his eyes. But peace was not the end of their work. New problems arose. Trade routes needed protection. Old enemies tested the treaty. Tomel and Vetra worked tirelessly, building alliances and solving problems as they came. One day, an urgent message came. A group of rogue fighters attacked a convoy carrying medicine to a distant colony. Lives were at risk. Without hesitation, Tomel and Vetra gathered a team and set out to stop the attack. They moved swiftly across the stars, their bond stronger than ever. When they reached the convoy, they found it surrounded by the attackers. Tomel used his quick thinking to create a distraction while Vetra led the defense. The fight was tough, but their teamwork was better. The attackers retreated, and the convoy was saved later. As they rested under a sky full of unfamiliar stars, Tomel said, "Every day brings new challenges. But with you, I feel ready." Vetra smiled. "And with you, I have hope." The years passed. The once divided worlds grew closer. Tomel and Vetra's story became a symbol of what was possible when courage, kindness, and wisdom come together. One evening, standing on a hill overlooking the settlement, Tomel looked at the stars and said, "We have built something new, a future not of war, but of friendship." Vetra took his hand. "Together, we can face anything." Their journey had started as a test of strength, mind, and heart. It had ended as a new beginning. And in the vast universe, where many believed humans were weak, Tomel had shown that true strength comes from within. The big transport ship Stellar Kite slowly pulled into the Helios trade station. It was a busy place where many different species met to trade goods and stories. The air was full of strange sounds, people speaking in many languages, machines humming, and the soft clink of metal carts rolling across the floor. Among the passengers leaving the ship was a woman named Alari. She looked different from most others. Her skin was a soft shade of green-blue, and her long hair flowed like ash. In the wind, she wore a long robe that covered her body but did not hide the graceful way she moved. She came from a faraway planet called Varela, a place almost no one here had ever seen. But Alari was not like other travelers. As soon as she stepped onto the station, people began to notice something strange about her, something invisible but powerful. There was a smell around her, a scent that filled the air. It was sharp and strong, like lightning in a storm mixed with the smell of burning wood and sour fruit. The smell was part of her, a natural gift from her body. Most people did not like this scent. Many stepped back quickly, covering their noses or moving away. Some whispered nervously to their friends, saying things like, "Stay away from her," or "She smells dangerous." The scent was too much for many species to handle. But not everyone. Toma was a young human technician working on the station. He had dark hair and warm brown eyes, and he was curious about almost everything. When he saw Alari, he did not move away like the others. Instead, he stopped and took a deep breath. The scent was different to him. It was strange, yes, but also beautiful in a way he could not explain. It reminded him of rain after a wildfire, the fresh, clean air mixed with the warm smell of earth and smoke. It was something new, something exciting. Toma watched Alari carefully. She walked slowly down the hall, her eyes calm but tired. No one talked to her. No one smiled at her. But Toma wanted to. When Alari reached a quiet corner of the station, she sat down on a bench near a large window. The window showed stars far away, shining like tiny diamonds in the dark. She looked out at the stars, her face soft but thoughtful. Toma took a few steps toward her. His heart beat a little faster, but he felt sure he could talk to her. "Hello," he said simply. Alari turned her head slowly. She looked at him with deep, dark eyes. "You are not afraid of my scent?" she asked, her voice quiet and clear. Toma shook his head. "No, it's strange, but I like it. It smells like rain after fire. It's nice." Alari looked surprised. No one had ever said anything like that to her before. Most people only stepped away or said rude things. "I'm Alari," she said. "Toma," he replied, sitting down next to her. "I work here. I fix machines and help with problems." They sat together, to strangers from very different worlds, for the first time since she arrived. Alari felt something she had not felt in a long time: hope. They talked quietly, sharing stories about their homes. Alari told Toma about Varela, a beautiful planet covered in forests and clear rivers. She spoke of her people, the Varelan, who had special scents that changed with their feelings. Her scent was strong, she said, because of a secret mission she carried. Toma listened carefully. He did not understand all the words she used, but he wanted to learn. At the same time, other people on the station watched them. Some whispered, "Why does that human sit with her? Doesn't he know what her scent does?" But Toma did not care. He saw Alari as more than her scent. He saw a person who was brave and kind. As the stars outside grew brighter, the two strangers shared a quiet moment. Alari said softly, "Everyone stays away because of my scent. It is a part of me they cannot accept." Toma smiled. "Maybe they just don't understand, but I do." In that busy space station, under the endless sky of stars, a small but powerful connection began. Two worlds touched, not with weapons or words of fear, but with simple kindness and curiosity. And the story of Alari and Toma was just beginning. Alari and Toma spent more time together on the Helios trade station each day. They met in quiet places, away from the busy crowds. The more they talked, the more they learned about each other's worlds. Alari told Toma about Varela, her home planet. It was a place covered in tall forests and shining rivers. The air was always fresh, filled with the scent of flowers and rain. But her people were not like humans or the many other species in the galaxy. Varelans had a special gift: their bodies made powerful scents that could change how others felt. These scents were part of their emotions and thoughts. When happy, their scent was soft and sweet. When scared or angry, it became strong and sharp. But Alari's scent was different. It was always strong, even when she tried to hide it. This made others uncomfortable and afraid. Toma listened carefully. "Is your scent like a warning?" he asked. Alari nodded. "In a way, it is a sign of danger, but not for me, for others. It is hard to stay close." "Then why do you stay here, where everyone moves away from you?" Toma asked gently. Alari's eyes grew sad. "I came to warn others. There is something wrong in the galaxy. A group wants to use my people's scents as weapons. Toma frowned. Weapons? How can a scent be a weapon? Alari looked around to make sure no one was listening, then spoke softly. Some people change the scent chemicals. They want to control minds, to make others obey without thinking. It is dangerous and wrong. Thomas' hands tightened. That is terrible. What can we do? Alari smiled faintly. I do not know yet, but I cannot let them win. Over the next days, Toma helped Alari in small ways. He fixed her old communication device and showed her the best places on the station, where she could be safe. Slowly, others began to notice that Toma was not afraid. One morning, as Toma worked in the station's maintenance bay, he heard a soft voice behind him. May I ask you something? He turned and saw Alari standing there, her eyes full of hope. Of course, he said. I want to understand humans better. How do you handle fear? How do you stay brave? Toma thought for a moment. Humans are afraid sometimes, but we try to help each other. We find strength in friends, and we believe in doing what is right, even if it is hard. Alari looked at him closely. That is something I want to learn. Their friendship grew stronger. Toma's kindness made Alari feel less alone in the busy station, and Alari's quiet courage inspired Toma to think about his own life in new ways. But not everyone was happy. Rumors started to spread that Alari carried secrets dangerous to the station. Some officials spoke in hushed tones about her rival. They were worried about what she might do. One evening, as Toma walked back to his small quarters, he noticed the station guards talking nearby. We should keep an eye on that Varroan woman. One said, her scent is a risk to security. Agreed. The other replied, if she is involved in mind control, we cannot ignore it. Toma's heart beat faster. He knew Alari was no threat, but he also knew the station was a place where fear could grow. Quickly, that night, Toma found Alari sitting, alone near the observation window again. I heard the guards talking. He said softly, they don't trust you? Alari sighed. They never do. Maybe it is because they don't understand you. Toma said, but I do, and I will help you. Alari looked at him with gratitude. Thank you, Toma. You are the first to say that. The next day, Alari gave Toma a small data device. It was filled with secret information from her home planet. It showed how the dangerous group was changing Varroan scents to control others. This is proof, she said. If we share this, others might help stop them. Toma held the device carefully. We have to be careful. If the wrong people see this, it could put you in danger. Alari nodded. I know, but it is worth the risk. Together, they planned to send the data to trusted friends in the galaxy, people who could act quickly. But danger was closer than they thought. That night, Toma's quarters were quietly watched by unseen eyes. The station was not as safe as it seemed, and the story of Alari and Toma was about to become much more dangerous. Days passed quietly on the Helios trade station. But the calm was only a mask over the growing storm. Toma and Alari had shared secrets and hopes. But the shadow of danger slowly crept closer. One afternoon, as the station's bright lights flickered softly overhead, Toma worked in the maintenance bay fixing a broken power conduit. His mind was only half on the task. He kept thinking about the data device Alari had given him, the information that could change everything. Suddenly, his comlink beeped urgently. It was a message from one of Toma's friends, Jero, who worked in station security. Toma, you need to be careful. People are asking questions about you and the alien woman. They don't like what they hear. Toma frowned and replied, what do you mean? What questions? Jero's voice was low and serious. There are rumors. The council suspects she might be carrying dangerous information. They want to detain her for questioning. If you're helping her, they might question you too. Thomas' heart raced. He knew that once the council got involved, things could quickly get worse. Thanks for the warning, Jero. I'll be careful. After ending the call, Thomas' thoughts returned to Alari. He found her sitting near the observation window, her eyes watching the stars. He sat beside her and said quietly, they are looking for you. They might try to take you away. Alari nodded slowly. I fear this. My mission has put me at risk. The secrets I carry are dangerous to many. Toma placed a hand on hers. We need to move. Stay ahead of them. Alari looked into his eyes. I trust you, Toma, but I do not want to bring trouble to you or your home. Toma shook his head. You're not alone. We face this together. That night, the station felt colder. The usual hum of activity seemed quieter, as if everyone was waiting for something to happen. Toma and Alari made plans. They decided to send the data from the device to trusted allies beyond the station, people who could help stop the dangerous group. But to do this, they had to leave Helios Trade Station before the Council's guards found them, before dawn. They packed a small bag with essentials. Alari wrapped herself in her usual robe, but this time she looked stronger, more determined. Toma led her through back corridors, places only station workers knew well. They moved quietly, avoiding patrols and cameras. The station was a maze of metal and lights, but Toma's knowledge helped them stay hidden. As they reached the docking bay, a small cargo ship waited. It was old but fast, a ship Toma had fixed himself in the past. It was their chance to escape. They boarded quickly. Alari activated the ship's systems, and Toma set the course for the nearby asteroid belt, a place full of dangers, but also perfect for hiding. Just as the engines roared to life, alarms blared across the station. Security breach. Unauthorized boarding detected. Toma's hands moved fast. Hold on. We have to jump now. The ship lifted off, shaking as it moved through the docking bay's narrow exit. Behind them, station guards rushed toward the bay, but it was too late. Outside, the stars stretched and shimmered as the cargo ship jumped into space. For a moment, silence returned. Alari looked at Toma with a small smile. We are free. Toma smiled back. For now, as they sailed toward the dark fields of the asteroid belt, Alari explained more about her people and their scents. Our scents are part of who we are, she said softly. They tell stories of our feelings and memories. But for me, the scent has been a burden. It pushed others away. Toma reached out and took her hand. I don't think it's a burden. It's part of your strength. Alari's eyes shone. Maybe it is time to stop hiding what I am. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped. An unknown ship was approaching fast. Trouble, Toma said grimly. Someone followed us. Alari stood, her posture calm but ready. They want to stop me. They will try to take the data and silence me. Toma gripped the controls. Then we won't let them. The cargo ship dove into the shadow of large asteroids, weaving through rocky fields to hide. The enemy ship followed closely, a sleek craft with weapons glowing red, prepared to defend. Toma said. Alari closed her eyes, breathing deeply. The scent around her grew stronger, but this time it felt different, controlled, powerful. When the enemy ship fired, Toma skillfully dodged the blasts, weaving between asteroids. Alari whispered, I can help. She stood tall, and the air around her seemed to pulse. The scent reached out like waves. On the enemy ship, the pilot's hands trembled. His mind felt strange, as if something was pulling at his thoughts. The pilot shouted orders, but his voice cracked. Finally, the enemy ship slowed and drifted away. Unable to continue the chase. Toma looked at Alari in surprise. What did you do? Alari smiled faintly. My scent can do more than push others away. It can protect. For the first time, Toma saw the true power of the Varellan gift. As the cargo ship moved deeper into the asteroid belt, safe for now, Toma and Alari knew the danger was far from over, but together, they were ready to face it. The cargo ship Starling slipped quietly through the dark fields of the asteroid belt. The large rocks around them shone faintly in the distant starlight. Toma's hands moved steadily on the controls as he guided the ship through the twisting maze. Alari sat beside him, her eyes fixed on the flickering screen that showed their path. For a while, the space around them was still and quiet. It felt as if the whole galaxy was holding its breath. But Toma knew better. Danger was never far away when secrets were involved. We can't stay here too long, Toma said. The enemy will send more ships to find us. Alari nodded. We must reach the old mining colony. It is abandoned and forgotten by most. There, we can hide and plan our next move. Toma sighed but agreed. He set the course for the small, rocky moon known as Marga. As they flew, Alari told Toma more about her people and their scents. On Varela, we use scents to communicate. It is like language for us. But the changes they made to my scent are meant to control others. To make them obey. Toma frowned. Who would do such a thing? A powerful group called the Syndicate. They want control over the galaxy. Using the scent as a weapon is only part of their plan. Toma thought for a moment. We need help. But who can we trust? Alari's gaze was steady. There are others who oppose the Syndicate. They will listen if we reach them. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped loudly. Toma checked the screen. A fast-moving ship was closing in on their position. They found us again, Toma said. His voice tense. Alari stood. Prepare for defense. Toma nodded and started to maneuver the ship through the asteroid field. The enemy ship was faster and more agile. Its weapons glowed red as it fired bursts toward Starling. Toma dodged quickly, weaving between giant space rocks. The cargo ship shook with each close hit. Alari took a deep breath. The scent around her grew stronger but calm. She moved toward the ship's small defense controls and activated a device. She had brought a scent diffuser, designed to release a concentrated version of her natural pheromones. A soft mist filled the small cabin. Outside, the enemy ship's systems began to fail. The pilot's hands trembled and his eyes glazed over. The enemy ship slowed and drifted away. Unable to continue the attack. Toma looked at Alari with new respect. Your scent saved us. Alari smiled weakly. It is a gift and a burden. I wish I did not have to use it this way. They continued their journey, careful and alert. After several hours, the rocky surface of Marga appeared below them. The old mining colony was dark and empty, with crumbling buildings covered in dust. Toma landed the ship with care, and they stepped out into the cold, quiet world. The silence was heavy. No one had lived here for years. This will be safe, Alari said. They will not find us here easily. Toma looked around the empty colony. We should rest and send the data to our allies, then decide our next step. That night, under the pale light of distant stars, Toma and Alari worked together, using the colony's old communication equipment. They sent the encrypted information about the Syndicate to trusted contacts. After sending the message, Alari spoke softly. Now, we wait. But I fear the Syndicate will not give up. Toma nodded. Neither will we. Days passed slowly. The quiet of the colony gave them time to plan and prepare. But Toma noticed Alari growing tired. The constant control of her scent and the fear of being caught weighed on her. One evening, Toma found her sitting outside, looking at the stars. Alari, he said gently, you can trust me. You don't have to carry this alone. She smiled. Faintly, thank you, Toma. Your friendship gives me strength. Suddenly, a distant rumble shook the ground. They looked toward the horizon. A bright light moved swiftly. Another ship was coming. Toma's face grew serious. They found us again. Alari stood, her eyes shining with determination. Then we fight or run. But we do not give up. The ship landed hard nearby. Armed figures emerged, moving quickly toward the colony. Toma grabbed a small weapon. We have to be ready. Alari inhaled deeply. Her scent filled the air around them, stronger and more fierce than before. As the enemies approached, the power of her scent took hold. The attackers slowed, confused and unable to move quickly. Toma moved beside Alari. Your scent is our shield. Together, they faced the danger, ready to protect the secrets that could save many lives. The chase was not over, but neither was their courage. The rocky ground of Marga shook as the armed figures closed in. Toma tightened his grip on his small weapon, his breath steady but heart-pounding. Alari stood beside him, her green-blue skin glowing faintly in the moonlight and the scent around. Her thickened like a protective shield. The attackers slowed, confusion spreading across their faces. Some stumbled, others hesitated. Alari's scent was more than just a smell, it was a force. It stirred feelings deep inside them, fear, doubt, and hesitation. Toma whispered, your scent is stronger than before. Are you okay? Alari took a deep breath and nodded. It is the power I never wanted to use like this. But I must protect what matters. The enemy leader stepped forward, his face hard and angry. Alari, surrender the data and come with us. No one needs to get hurt. Alari's eyes locked with his. I will never give you what you want. Your plans will fail. The leader sneered. You are weak. Your scent is just a trick. But as he spoke, his steps faltered. Toma noticed his hands shaking. The scent was breaking through his confidence. Suddenly, one of the attackers lunged forward. Toma raised his weapon and fired a warning shot. The bullet hit the rocky ground near the attacker's foot. Stop, Toma shouted. We don't want to fight if there's another way. The attackers froze. Caught between fear and orders, Alari, step forward slowly. We can end this without more fighting. Let us talk. The leader looked at his men, then back at Alari. After a long pause, he nodded. They all moved inside one of the old mining buildings. The heavy doors closed behind them, shutting out the cold night air. Inside, Alari spoke clearly. The Syndicate is using my people's scent as a weapon to control others. This is wrong. It will bring destruction. The leader's eyes narrowed. What do you want? Peace, Alari said simply, and a chance to stop the Syndicate. If we work together, we can stop them, Toma added. The galaxy is bigger than this fight. There are many who want peace and freedom. The leader looked uncertain, but some of his men lowered their weapons. The tension eased. Suddenly, the door shook violently. Outside, a loud roar echoed. What is that? Someone asked. Toma ran to the window and saw a large Syndicate ship landing nearby. More attackers were coming. We have little time, Toma said urgently. We must act now. Alari turned to the leader. Will you help us stop the Syndicate? The leader looked around at his men. After a moment, he nodded. For now. Yes, they worked quickly to prepare the colony's old defense systems. Toma fixed the power controls, while Alari used her scent to help calm and focus their new allies. The Syndicate forces moved closer, but this time they were ready. When the enemy ship fired, the combined team defended the colony fiercely. Alari's scent spread like a wave, breaking the minds of the Syndicate soldiers, making them hesitate and turn away. Toma fired with precision, disabling the enemy's weapon systems. The attackers' formation broke apart, and they began to retreat. As the Syndicate ship lifted off, the group cheered softly. It was a small victory, but a sign of hope. Alari looked at Toma. We cannot stop here. The Syndicate will return. Toma smiled. Then we keep fighting. Together. The leader approached Alari. You have strength, more than I expected. Maybe this fight is not so simple. Alari nodded. It is not. But with allies, we can protect the galaxy. That night, under the stars, Toma and Alari felt a new sense of purpose. Their fight was just beginning, but for the first time, they were not alone. After the small victory at the mining colony, Toma and Alari felt a brief moment of relief. The stars above Marga shone quietly, but the battle against the Syndicate was far from over. The new allies, led by the man who had come with the attackers, introduced himself as Kieran. Though rough and serious, Kieran had a strong sense of honor. His group was made of people who did not trust the Syndicate and wanted freedom for all. We have resources, Kieran said, and ships. If we work together, we can fight back. Toma nodded. We need help to spread the truth about the Syndicates. Plans? Alari smiled softly. And I need to learn to control my scent better. It is powerful, but I must not let it control me. Days turned into weeks as the small group repaired old ships, trained together, and planned their next steps. Toma and Alari spent long hours learning from Kieran's team and sharing what they knew. One evening, as the group gathered around a simple fire, Alari spoke quietly to Toma. Your people are strong. You stand against fear and fight for hope. It gives me hope too. Toma smiled. We all need hope, Alari, especially now. But beneath the calm, tension remained. The Syndicate was powerful, with spies everywhere. Trust was hard to find. One night, as Toma checked the colony's sensors, He noticed something unusual, a small ship approaching fast, but staying hidden in the asteroid shadows. He warned the others quietly. "We might have visitors or trouble." Karen prepared the team. "Be ready." The ship landed softly nearby. A lone figure stepped out. It was a woman, dressed in dark clothes, her face covered with a hood. She looked around carefully, then approached the group. "I'm Lyra," she said quietly. "I come with a warning." Alari's eyes narrowed. "From whom?" "The Syndicate knows where you are. They plan a large attack soon," Lyra said. "They have spies even inside this colony." Toma exchanged a quick look with Karen. "How do we know we can trust you?" Lyra pulled back her hood slightly, revealing a calm face. "Because I want the Syndicate stopped too. I was part of them once. I left when I saw their cruelty." Alari stepped forward. "Then tell us what you know." Lyra nodded and sat by the fire. "The Syndicate's leader is preparing a new weapon. It can control whole planets using scent technology. They want to use it to rule the galaxy." The group was silent. The danger was greater than they had thought. Toma spoke slowly. "We have to stop this weapon." "But how?" Lyra looked at Alari. "You are key. Your people's scents are the source of their power. You can help destroy their plans." Alari swallowed hard. "I have to face them. But I cannot do it alone." Karen stood. "Then we fight together. We have strength in numbers." The group began planning a daring mission to infiltrate the Syndicate's main base, a hidden station in a distant system. Toma and Alari trained harder, preparing for the challenges ahead. Alari practiced controlling her scent, learning to send feelings of calm and hope instead of fear. One night, as the stars moved slowly overhead, Toma and Alari sat together, tired but determined. "Do you think we can win?" Alari asked softly. Toma took her hand. "If we believe in each other, yes." Alari smiled, feeling stronger than ever. The next day, the group prepared to leave the mining colony. Their fight was no longer just for survival, it was for the future of the galaxy. As the ships lifted off, the stars seemed to shine brighter, guiding them toward their destiny.